All right, here's the third video in the SRT standard for Topic 7. This is the final review, second semester of 2019. Math 3 second semester final review. Remember, this is a not all-inclusive list of topics or video series. You're responsible for studying everything we've learned from the entire year. So, simplified form of 1 minus sine squared theta. Here's something I've learned over my years. Anytime you see a squared, sine, cosine, or tangent, you want to first start with the Pythagorean identity. So if we go to the Pythagorean identity comes from the Pythagorean theorem. Do I want to explain all this concept right now to you guys? Do you feel like hearing it all? You want to hear that? Yes. Okay, let's look at the unit circle, where this comes from. Let's say I have, this is angle theta, just some angle in the first quadrant. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I wrote it too small. The little orange marks I wrote down there, isn't this the sine of theta? And isn't this one the cosine of theta? Right? Isn't the unit circle radius 1? Right? Isn't it? Hey, what's the Pythagorean theorem say? Doesn't the Pythagorean theorem say that leg squared plus leg squared equals 1? If this distance is defined as the cosine of theta, if I do cosine squared plus this one, sine squared, isn't that equal to the hypotenuse squared, which is 1? That's it. It's just a Pythagorean theorem around the unit circle. And, boys and girls, it's even better than that. Check this out. Look at this identity. What happens if I subtract sine squared to the other side? What does it look like? Doesn't it look like cosine squared of, let's just say, theta equals 1 minus... Hey, we're already done. Simplified form of this is just cosine squared. I think the answer for this one, look, this one's multiple choice. So what's the correct answer? It's A. Done deal. Piece of cake, huh? Let's go down. The other question on this is simplifying this with sine or tangent and reciprocal identities and stuff like that. Remember, my advice to you guys when you're simplifying these is try to get everything in terms of either sine or cosine. Do that as much as you can. So, you also want to remember the quotient identity, that tangent is sine over cosine. If that's true, then what is cotangent? Isn't cotangent the reciprocal of this? So it's cosine over sine. So this part I can rewrite as cosine over sine times sine theta over 1 cosine. What's going to happen to these sines? So what am I left with? Cosine over cosine, which is 1. Done. Oh. What would happen? What would happen on a separate problem? I'm just spitballing here, just brainstorming. What would happen if instead of this, everything on the top canceled and you left with 1 over cosine? How do I express that in a fully simplified form? What is 1 over cosine otherwise known as? Starts with an S, rhymes with ecant, secant. So you got to remember the reciprocal identities are not on your formula sheet. And I'm not going to put them on there. You guys have got to remember something. Look up the reciprocal identities and make sure you know those. I can't write today. Okay, that's it for that video. And I thought it was going to be a quick video. I was way off.